well-traveled, and knowing many languages, the next generation arrives. Let's rise to the occasion. Welcome, willkommen, bienvenue, benvenuto. Let's bathe your tired feet with hot water and serve the best injera, vegetables, meat, and drink. Take this warm white gabi to wrap yourself in. Let's walk the mountains and valleys. Given to us, we give them to you. History and culture to read, a legacy to satisfy your needs and to share, even with strangers, on one condition. Don't give it all away.
This is Face Diaspora, a platform for conversations on Eritrea. Your host, Russom Mesfun.
Bonjour madame.
Bonjour monsieur.
Comment allez-vous?
Bien, merci et vous?
Très bien, merci. Nous avons une question. On fait une interview ici devant le UN à Genève. Pourquoi vous êtes venue ici madame?
Alors, tout d'abord, c'est une question de conscience. C'est difficile de se regarder dans la glace tous les jours, sachant que ma famille, mes cousins, mes frères et sœurs, mes amis en Érythrée tous les jours vivent dans des conditions vraiment difficiles. C'est un enfer qu'ils vivent. Ils n'ont aucune liberté, aucun moyen d'exister. Le service militaire aujourd'hui c'est notre sujet principal. Donc en Érythrée, le service militaire est forcé malgré les ratifications de conventions que l'Érythrée a fait. De plus, le service militaire n'est pas compensé comme ça l'est dans la plupart des pays dans le monde. Ils sont souvent pas payés et de plus ils font des travaux d'ordre civil, donc c'est vraiment pas que du travail militaire. Et c'est à durée indéterminée. Ça c'est aussi un énorme problème car aucune personne ne serait d'accord de travailler toute sa vie pour un gouvernement sans jamais pouvoir exister, sans jamais pouvoir travailler, avoir une profession, étudier, ce qui est pourtant des choses basiques dans ma vie. Et c'est pour ça que je dois me battre pour eux, parce que si j'étais à leur place, j'aurais voulu qu'on se batte pour moi.
Veronica Almedom, thank you so much for being here. I'm absolutely delighted to welcome you to Face Diaspora. Good morning to you.
Good morning. This is my pleasure to be with you guys today.
So since a lot of our listeners have probably never heard of you, could you please introduce yourself and say who you are and what you actually do and where you live?
Sure. So my name is Veronica Almedom. I am an Eritrean young lady and I live in Geneva, Switzerland. I lived here in Switzerland my whole life, but I'm very attached to my country. I have been in Eritrea a couple of times, but it seems like I have always lived over there because I'm very attached to my country. Now I am studying and working in marketing and communications. And beside this, I also try to involve myself a lot in our national issues in regards to Eritrea. I also try to connect new Eritreans who arrived here in Switzerland to make their life a little more comfortable here in Switzerland. I have friends that work with me on this, and this is pretty much what I do.
So let's get started from, were you born in Eritrea, incidentally?
No, I was born in Italy, in Rome, and we didn't stay over there for a very long time. I was about 6 months old when we arrived here in Switzerland.
And you said you also go to school at this time. Do you go to college?
Yes, it's a marketing school. So this is pretty much my passion, and yes, this is what I do at the moment.
Well, so when one studies marketing, what's the ultimate objective? What is it that you would like to do?
I just like to create opportunities. I like innovation. I like just thinking out of the box, and really doing things that are unexpected and surprise people. And it has a lot to do with communication. You have to give a good message, and this is also something that I'm doing in my activities related to Eritrea. So it's a good training.
Now, I also read from the bio that you submitted that you actually speak several languages. And what languages are they?
So I wish I could say that I speak very good Tigrinya, but it's getting better, especially since the last year that went by. So Tigrinya is my mother tongue language, and then French is the language that I speak every day, of course, English, and a little bit of German.
Well, so because our listeners always like to hear our people speak in their language, so could you just say some words in Tigrinya? Just say, I'm happy to be in the program.
بطعمي تحبيسة مساهم دلهو لومي and تسفاي قبر تقريناي مداها شيك خيد.
I think that's wonderful. I think you speak just fine and I understand it just fine. So I'm very happy to hear that. So moving on, one of the things you actually do is that you said you raise awareness of the situation in Eritrea. What does it mean to raise one's awareness? What does that look like and feel like?
It's a good thing. I'm really happy to speak about my country. But sometimes I have to say that it is sad because I wish I had happy news. I wish I had positive things to say about my country. I know that there are beautiful things in my country. The country itself is beautiful. The people in the country are the most noble people I know. But unfortunately, we have to be realistic, and there are major issues that needs to be addressed before we can talk about all the good things. So raising awareness is could be better because if there were better things to say, but it is important, even if things are very negative at the moment, it is important to address them because it's the only way to move forward. So we have been raising awareness in regards to the national service with the campaign Stop Slavery in Eritrea. And now we're also raising awareness with in Switzerland with all the issues related to immigration.
So, Veronica, I really appreciate the fact that you're also able to say there are great things about our country. What are some of the great things that you're proud of as an Eritrean?
I will say that we have this strength of really helping each other when, I mean, it can sound a little wrong now, but because of our situation, but it is true that when there is, for example, Hazan, people really help each other, and it doesn't matter how bad the situation is between one another. We always support each other. It could be in any way, even if we have hard feelings amongst each other. We support each other in hard times. And other things, I would say that we have traditional values that are pretty unique. We look out for each other. We help each other. We have yes, we have good traditional values, and we respect elders. And this is something that I really appreciate to see when I go to Eritrea. It was something that I really that was really heartwarming. The special treatment that we give to elders.
Veronica, what is national service? What is it that you're saying about national service? And what is it that you're trying to do about it?
So I would say that there are various versions of what national service is. If we see it on a denial point of view, I want to call it denial because I don't think it's the actual reality. From a denial point of view, it's a work that youth do in a very proud way, in a very happy way, and they are very they feel privileged of doing this national service, and they do it with a good mindset. This is the version of the diaspora, more than likely. And then we have the more realistic version of the national service, which is the version of people not having rights of saying their opinion, people being forced to execute the national service, youth being taken from schools at 16 years old to execute the national service. And then we have all the violations that go on during their service. They get humiliated, they get punished, and they get raped. For my sisters, get raped, and this is absolutely terrible, and it's not acceptable. So this is the real version of the national service, a version that people deny.
So what do you say to the government that says that we have to ask Eritreans to contribute to serving their country because we are in a no-win, no peace, no war situation? How do you explain that to people who say, well, they're supposed to serve their country because this is a tiny, East African nation, and it has safety issues that it needs to be alert at all times? What do you say to those folks who say that?
So I tell them first to have a shift in our government, because we need to have better leaders. We need to have leaders that can speak to their people, and that can speak on an international level. We had many times seen our ambassadors looking ridiculous in the United Nations or in national TV. So I'm asking them to please resign, all of them, and give the opportunity to smart leaders, leaders that can defend their people before defending their own power. And then, even if we really needed to have this national service on an indefinite period of time, can we at least respect those people? Can we at least give them money and give them the freedom to see their families, and give them the right to say no when a woman doesn't want to have sex with a man who is her superior? Can she say no and not get in trouble? All these are things that are happening in Eritrea, and that YPFDJ kids see when they go to those festivals, but they refuse to speak about it when they come back here. And this is the reality.
Veronica, have you had an opportunity to actually have a conversation with any of the youth who experienced national service?
Yes, I have. In our team, the campaign team, we have, I think, half of the members who are conscripts, who are in a national service. I mean, who are in Sawa, at least.
And what are they telling you? How many have you run into, and what do they say?
They say horrible things. They say things that that prevent me from sleeping sometimes. I think about it because it's so shocking. And I don't think it's because I'm necessarily sensitive, but I think that it's really shocking that people can get raped, that women can get raped on a regular basis, that people can get hit in the face or in the head with some metal, that they attach them in a helicopter position, and just because they said their opinion. So this is absolutely unacceptable. We don't even do this to high-profile criminals. So I don't see why my brothers and sisters have to go through this just because they wanted to express themselves.
So how do you actually come across these escapees who are coming from Eritrea? Do you go to the place of location? Is there a certain place where they come to? How does that work?
Different ways. So I assist I assist many of them in their immigration process. So we have to sometimes speak about those issues and how it was when they were in Eritrea. So sometimes it's that way. I also assist the Commission of Inquiry in finding testimonies. So I sometimes have to get information on what they went through, and this is there are very shocking stories.
Are the people that you're coming across, are they mostly men or women or a combination of both?
I would say that there are more men because women don't speak about it. Our culture is pretty silent on all the issues related to rapes and sexual assault. So yeah, we don't. I mean, I have spoken to a few women, but it's not very often that they express themselves on this issue.
So when you come across these stories, these horrific stories of men and women who have gone through this nightmarish experience, is there a counseling service that's provided to them for comfort and to actually help with their trauma?
Absolutely no work is done here in Switzerland when it comes to psychological treatment. And this is something that we are working on, the youth of my organization. We are trying to get some funds to fund a study on the traumatism that Eritreans go through. So it's a very important subject that we have to cover.
Well, how about their needs for food and shelter and ultimate employment? How do they get to transition to a new life that's relatively safer, but still they have needs? Who helps them out?
So the government of Switzerland does a pretty good job compared to Italy, for example, because they don't let people sleep outside. But there is a big problem here in Switzerland because they put many Eritreans and also other immigrants, but the majority are Eritreans. They put them in bunkers, so it's under earth. I mean, it's made as a shelter in case of a major disaster. So they feel like they have the same feeling as how it was in Eritrea, and it reminds them of the underground prisons that we have in Eritrea. So it is very difficult for them. They have to live like this, and for now there are no solutions. Although we are working hard, are lobbying the Swiss government in order to give them better places to live in, but unfortunately it takes time, and in the meantime they have to live in those bunkers.
What motivated you to be involved so actively in this humanitarian effort?
It's different things. First, I would say that I have no reasons to not do it, because I'm not traumatized because I had to fight in war. I'm not traumatized because I had to go through the Sahara or the Mediterranean Sea, and I have never really had any problem in my life. I'm educated. I have all the things that allow me to support my brothers and sisters. So there is absolutely no reason for me to not do it. If my parents hadn't left Eritrea, I would be those people. So I have to do something about it.
Do you recall the way that you actually decided to participate? Who do you think was influential in your desire to support your country in times of need?
I think my parents have always showed me to be very kind to others. When we were in Eritrea, they were very sensitive to our people, to our neighbors, to other people in the city. So I think that's where it started, from my parents.
Veronica, you also said that you're engaged in lobbying activity. What is it that you're lobbying for? What are some of the things that you're asking to be done? Who do you lobby, and where and why?
So during the campaign, we met with missions. We met with a few missions here in Geneva. We met with the ILO, the International Labour Organization. All these efforts count at the end of the day, because they need to know that Eritrea exists. They need to know that someone is suffering in Eritrea, because everybody is so silent in our community. The victims, even us here in the diaspora, we're so silent. So they don't really hear the cries of my people. So that's why we had to lobby. It's not the most exciting activity because you have to spend a lot of time discussing with them, and you have to make points. But it's a good exercise to do, and it's for the good cause. It's a very important cause. So yeah, that's about it.
Veronica, is there a large Eritrean population in Geneva?
In Geneva, I think we are about 2,000 Eritreans, even more, probably more. But in general, in Switzerland, we are more than 25,000.
Do you collaborate with people across Europe? Who do you work with? Are you exclusively working with people, with Eritreans, of course, in Geneva and surrounding areas, or you actually network with people in Europe, Western Europe, and as far as Sweden?
Yes, I work with, so we started with a few people, with a few youth here in the area of the French area of Switzerland. And then we started to collaborate with opposition organizations. Some of them are excellent. I mean, most of them are excellent. They all do their best, and I appreciate all the support that they have given us, especially during the campaign. And now we are working on a more humanitarian aspect, because there are very big issues, as I was telling you, with the newcomers. And their accommodation and other big issues are going on at the moment. So we are really all joining our forces, our strengths, and I'm very happy about it, because sometimes I was feeling alone, I would say, even though they all were working hard. But I'm very happy now that we consolidating our strength, and it's a good sign.
Veronica, you also organized a demonstration, it's my understanding?
Yes.
Can you share what the demonstration was all about, and what happened, and what role you played in this demonstration?
So at the end of our campaign, the goal was to mark the end of the campaign with a series of events here in Geneva. There was a very big meeting in June. It was the UPR for Eritrea. So actually, one of our campaigner, Luam Stefanos, spoke to the audience, and she testified about all the things that she went when she was at the national service. And so this demonstration was just to mark all the efforts that we had done during 6 months. It was very intensive. It was not one day that we didn't work or we didn't talk to each other. We were very close, and I think this is why the campaign was successful. So the demonstration was to really mark the end of the 6 months, and to push on the Commission of Inquiry. And about 2 days later, they announced that the Commission of Inquiry was validated.
Veronica, it's my understanding that you probably need more people to help you out in these efforts that you're undertaking. Is there any message you would like to convey to people who could potentially help you out? Can you say something and say, this is what we need and this is how you can help us out?
Sure. So what we need is people that want to work, but that want to work without getting anything in return, without getting any favors in return, without asking our young brothers to take part to meetings, because this is what people did, especially PFDJ people. I know that this is what they do. So even PFDJ people, if you want to help us, helping our brothers and sisters, please don't do it so that they can come to your meetings and give these 2% tax. So just do it with the heart. Do it because they're in a critical state. They are highly fragilized. They need people. They don't need politics machines. They need their brothers and sisters to support them, because at any time they can go back to Italy. They can be deported at any time, and this is not our identity. Eritreans help each other. Eritreans don't always criticize each other and talk behind each other's back. This is not us. Eritreans support each other, and not only because we're Eritreans, but just because we're humans. And being a human is much bigger than being Eritrean. So just be a human being and support other humans. that need your support.
I'm very glad and reassured that you've also mentioned people from the YPFDJ to participate if necessary. Have you had any conversations with them? Have you reached out and said, look, we could work together? This is a national crisis. And have you had any conversations whatsoever? What do you say to them?
I haven't had any conversation with them. If I have any, it's pretty shallow conversations because you can't get in a deep conversation when it comes to Eritrea with them, unfortunately. But I would love to have a conversation with them and see what we can bring to each other, because we are all from the same place. We need each other at the end of the day. We don't need to always fight. We can agree to just disagree, and later we will see what will happen. But in the meantime, I think it's time to leave politics on the side and support our people. And I think that at the minute that they sit down and listen to their stories, I think their opinion about politics will change in a second. Because it's impossible to support a government that tortures people all the time and that has no feelings for their youth. They totally destroyed those generations, and I think that the minute that they sit down with them, they will realize that all this is wrong. All the things that are happening in Eritrea are wrong.
Veronica, not that they would particularly listen to this program, but could you also convey a message maybe to the leadership in Eritrea? What is it that you would like to convey to them in your capacity as someone who is actively supporting the victims of this regime?
I'll tell them that they destroyed so many things, really destroyed so many things, and they destroyed so many lives that it's not even possible to have a dialogue with them. But I would just ask them to resign and to apologize for what they did. It sounds absolutely utopic, but this is really what I would love to see every single person in this regime apologize to the people of Eritrea. And I think that if they would ever do that, we would be able to continue and to reconcile, because they have fractioned every single portion of our country. They have destroyed all the unity that we had. People don't even get along in a family, so this is absolutely it's terrible. It's just unfair for all the people that worked hard, that made history by giving us our country, and it's unfair for the kids who lost their parents in the battlefield and that have to go through Sahara to make a living and to survive, to have a life. So I would just ask them to apologize to the people of Eritrea.
Veronica, and thank you for those remarks. How are you? How are you able to go to school? Are you pretty much done with your studies? Are you now only actively involved, and also apparently you have to also have a job, right?
Yes, I do have a job as well.
So how do you manage all these things, and then you have this passion for the people of your country? How do you make the time? Are you overwhelmed? Do you get overwhelmed?
Sometimes I get overwhelmed, but it's nothing compared to what they go through. I mean, this is just time management. That's all. It would sound very arrogant for me to say that I am stressed or that I'm depressed because I have too much work or that I'm burning out. because I'm doing too much. That would be arrogant. Because when I hear their stories, we are on another dimension, and my little routine and my little stressing life is nothing compared to what I can bring to them. So, and what I can bring, hopefully I can bring something to my country. So, I mean, it's just temporary. I'm very busy because of school and work, but that's temporary, and every second counts, and every effort that I do counts to make a difference. So that's pretty much how I see things.
Veronica, you are one inspiring young lady, and I would like to convey to you how utterly proud I am of what you're doing, and I want to wish you the best of luck. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Russom.
تزمت ولدو متيولو تنسو بعجب متقبلو هاي بتزردو زفلتو مرحبا بالحان مساء ويلكم فيلكومن بنفينوتو نبلو عبو نقدر حبو ما يوعينا قرو نحسبو نبلعيو نستيو نزقبو نمامكو قابن دربو نسنيو نخببو بتروبا بتقبو مسعبيخ عجبو يمهار يزنعيو ينببو تبهلي تاريخ عدبو عدرخا نبلو نلابو عدرخا أحلفكا غيتهبو نحلاف مقدي نودبو